Hey everyone, so this is the 2022 iPhone SE, aka the iPhone SE 3. This is, as of this video, the latest iteration of the iPhone SE. Supposedly there might be one coming out here this year in 2024, but we'll have to wait and see for that. So this is a pretty small phone. This is, to me, it's a pretty nice looking phone as well, especially in this nice product red coloration here. And what's also cool, and this is gonna be very hard to see, but in your charging port it is also red, and then also when you take out your SIM card slot it is also red as well. And this is a really small phone. You see this thing is crazy thin, and it is just overall small. The screen itself is also very small, since we have this big forehead and big chin with your home button down there. Putting it next to an iPhone 13 mini, you can see the SE is actually a little bit taller than the 13 mini, but the SE is a tiny bit wider. I mean, like the tiniest bit wider. And the mini is actually a little bit chunkier than the SE. So the SE is a little bit skinnier. From side by side there, you can see. Again, not much difference in size, but in some ways the mini is smaller, some way the SE is smaller. Then you do not have Face ID, but you do have Touch ID, and it does actually work rather well, as you see there. It works actually rather well, which is a very nice way of getting into it, but again, there is no Face ID. Let's talk about some performance here. So first we'll start out with just going online, going onto Safari and doing a speed test, if you will. As you can see, I did not delete history before this video, and we can see how quick this thing loads into Best Buy, which again, like I say in a lot of my videos, this is a bit of a heavier website than some other websites are. Say compared to something like Pokemon, which you can see here I have not gone to since I have deleted the history. We're Pokemon.com here, and this thing just flies through internet browsing. This has the A15 processor in it, which again is just like you would have in a 13 or a 13 mini. Same thing with like the 14s, 14 pluses, basically same processor, just a little bit different, but they're all the A15 processors. So this thing is very fast for web browsing. We'll go on to a game here. We'll just go on to Family Island and show you how fast it loads into this game. And almost there, and there we are. So again, pretty dang quick. We'll go into something like Roblox. A lot of people do like Roblox these days. I mean, you can see how fast it goes into it. We'll go on to the strongest battlegrounds here, show off a little bit of Roblox gameplay. This is a pretty graphically intensive game on Roblox, as far as Roblox is concerned. Graphics are up all the way. Alright, so then we'll show this off as I'm getting beat up by this guy. But there is no lag on this whatsoever. This is incredibly... And any Roblox game you throw at this is you want to be very good at playing. The only real concern you might have is, especially in max graphics like we're in right now, this device, like pretty much any other phone out there, especially smaller phones, it's going to get very warm. It'll get pretty warm. I'm not going to say it's going to like burn your hand or anything, but it will get pretty warm if you do more intensive gaming. Let's talk about these speakers. So when you're listening, well, it has two speakers, we'll just put it that way. So you have, of course, you have your earpiece speaker, and then you also have a speaker down there. And this, again, is a pretty small phone. These speakers are pretty dang loud. So I just have some KineMaster, which is an app, video editing app here, and I have some royalty-free music. We'll just hit a few of these, and you guys can hear how loud this thing is, and it actually sounds really good. And here's some cinematic music. And then we can do a little bit of dance music here. So these speakers on here are really good. I mean, these are pretty dang loud. I don't know there's much difference between this phone and like my S22 Ultra from Samsung. There's not a whole lot of difference, and this thing is very small. So again, speakers on here are awesome. Now let's talk very briefly about this screen, this display. To me, I don't think it's terrible, but I know there are people that might think this is not the best of displays, which it isn't the best of displays. Again, compared to something even like the iPhone 13, 13 mini, more the higher end iPhones, this is definitely not as nice as those are. This is more of a basic display, especially compared to something like, again, like Samsung S22 Ultra, S23 Ultra, they have the AMOLED displays. Again, I don't think this thing is terrible. This is a cheaper phone. I mean, this is the cheapest phone you can buy from Apple, but you know, colors just don't pop as much on it. The blacks just aren't as black as, again, the nicer displays. Again, I don't know if most people will really care about this, but I know there are people out there that do care about the displays. Personally, I don't really care as long as it doesn't look bad, which I don't think this one looks bad. It just isn't as nice as your more premium phone displays, but it's something to note that it just isn't the best display, of course, because, again, you're talking about the cheapest phone Apple makes. And then let's talk about the camera. Well, I guess there are multiple cameras, but on the back here, there's only this one single camera. And let me tell you, this is actually a rather good camera. I really do like this phone's camera for the most part. Unless you really need to get into something that's far away, or if you want it to be a macro, so something that's very close, it's not great for either of those two things. But as a normal camera, this thing is actually rather good. Then of course you also have your front-facing camera there as well. And you can see the nice details in this picture. This is a green-yellow boot, and you can really see the colorations as well as all the fine details do pop out. And then we can see on this picture, you can actually read all of the fine words. You can see everything, even the super duper fine print there on the shoes label. And then on this picture, you can see all of actually the little bit of dirt that is on the bottom of my shoe here. And then on my last picture here, again, the blue really does pop out. The blacks actually look really good as well. And again, you can see all of the nice fine details in the shoe. Again, this is a fantastic camera for taking just regular pictures. Again, but the problem is when you have to zoom in. So you do have a zoom in. It doesn't tell you what it goes into, but it doesn't zoom in that great. And of course, something that's farther away and you zoom in on it is not going to be very good detail. And then it also does not have a macro lens on it. So I mean, you can get decently close. You can actually get closer with this than I can with the iPhone 13 mini, which is kind of surprising. But you still cannot get crazy close like something like a 13 Pro or 13 Pro Max would be able to do with an actual macro lens. But all in all, camera on this is really, really good. I really do like it. It is awesome. So all in all, I still think this iPhone SE 3 is a very good phone, as long as you do not mind the small size and then the even smaller display on this thing, you know, with these big bezels. Again, they are supposedly making a new one this year from what I've heard on Google, either this year or next year, 2024 or 2025, and they're going to be redoing it with a different casing on it. Of course, those are just rumors. But I do think this is an excellent phone. Again, the A15 chip in here, the processor in here, is an incredibly good processor. Very, very fast. It's good for gaming. It's just overall an excellent phone for what is normally $430 unlocked from Apple itself. You all let me know what you think, though. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a good one. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.